This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Robert MacPhee. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night? Are you there, Robert?
I'm here. I'm here. It's daytime here, so I don't know.
What part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in California.
Yeah, you see, I get that response from the really honest individuals because they're like, okay, are we playing? Do I play as though I'm there? What do we do?
Is he talking to someone else or is he talking to me?
Yeah, well, it's night here. It's actually in the PM, a bit after 9, so almost 10 p.m. Yeah, but you're all the way on the western side. It's a great pleasure to connect with you. Do tell us which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history.
Well, I think the talent that would be responsible for that would be my talent as a facilitator. And I when people ask me what I do, the easiest way to explain it is coaching and consulting and speaking. But what I really consider myself as doing in the world is facilitating and helping people facilitate the changes that they want to make and create the lives they really want to create. And it was through doing that work that I connected with Teresa de Gravois, who introduced me to you.
Yeah, she's amazing, isn't she?
She is. She's remarkable. She's one of the greatest connectors I've ever met. She keeps connecting me to people I'm already connected with. That's how good she is.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, I met Teresa way back in 2016. It would have put us probably around September, anywhere between September to December. And since then, she's definitely been an integral part of my life where I have these conversations and she ensures that I connect with some of the most amazing people in the world. So, Robert, you've been added to that list, and I'm very thankful that you take the time to be here.
Sure, I'm thrilled and I'm flattered. I know she has a very discerning palette, if you will. So I'm thrilled that I was invited.
So who did you learn this skill from, though? This ability to help others. Who did you learn that from? Is there someone in your family that functioned that way as well?
I think the members of my family, my parents were both amazing. I was really blessed in the way that I grew up. And at the same time, in terms of answering your question, I think the real breakthrough for me in terms of developing the skills and the real desire to do what I'm doing now came from the opportunity to work with Jack Canfield, who was the co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul book series. And I actually went to a seminar that he was teaching and just fell in love with the work that he does. And I got so much value from the experience of being at his seminar that I went back and volunteered to support the work that he was doing. And out of volunteering to support the work that he was doing, opportunities started to show up for me to take a more active role on his team. And I actually ended up being the director of training for his organization for a number of years and getting associated with a group called the Transformational Leadership Council, where I was a founding member and executive director. And really all through the association with Jack over the period of, about 10 years or so, had the opportunity to work with and learn from some of the greatest teachers on the planet in this area of personal and professional development and leadership and communication. It was just an incredible opportunity. And for me, one of the greatest parts of the opportunity was that my children were very young at the time. My youngest daughter is just graduating from college this year, but at the time they were very young, and they grew up around those kinds of conversations. And I always tell Jack that the single greatest contribution that he made in my life, although it's impacted me personally and professionally every single way, the greatest impact it made was as a parent. And I see how my children are doing now, and I really think that was a huge part of it, that they grew up around the kind of conversations about personal responsibility and having a vision and clarifying their values and communicating effectively and being leaders and all those kinds of things that in many ways come naturally to them now.
For those that are listening that need a coach like you, Robert, where's the best place for them to connect with you?
The best place for them to connect with you, all of my work now is branded around the concept of excellent decisions, making decisions based on vision and values instead of external stress and pressure. And the website is excellentdecisions.com. I am not one of those people who has 27 gatekeepers. I'm very easy to find. So if they go to the website, they'll very easily be able to learn more about what I'm doing and the philosophy and the approach that we take, and connect with me if they're interested.
Tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
One other thing that I've done, I'm thinking of Forrest Gump. It's run, Forrest, run. I love to run, and for several reasons. One is, actually, it's not true that I love to run. What I love is what happens when I run, because I get some of my greatest ideas and creative thinking while I'm running. And I just know that it has a positive impact on every area of my life when I'm running and I'm out. Again, living here in California, I'm very blessed that I can get out on the road year round and see beautiful sights and experience nature. And again, have that opportunity to open up to my creativity, to what I call the ideas and insights and intuition that are available to me if I pause long enough to listen. And getting out and running gives me the opportunity to do all that. So continue to do that, even as some people tell me I'm too old to do it.
How does this make you feel?
It makes me feel energized. And there's another side of it is it really makes me feel open. And it's interesting because it takes a little while. When I first go out for a run, I don't feel that energized and I don't feel that open. But once I get going and once I kind of get into a rhythm and I'm out on the road and away from the house and away from the environments that I get so comfortable in, it feels like that's when the insights come up. I always feel like I need to run with a 3x5 card and a pen in my pocket because I don't want to forget the things that occur to me, the ideas that show up, the gaps that get closed sometimes when I'm out for a run.
Why would you suggest to someone that's listening that they employ something like that in their lives?
Why should they do that?
Yeah, why would you suggest they do that?
Well, I think the reason why to do it, there's two sides to it. One is the physical health benefits. There's so much research out there that documents the fact that by being physically active, I used to do a lot of work in the health and fitness world, and I was addressing the mental side. I was looking at the attitudes and beliefs that people have that I think ultimately determine the results they get in terms of their health and fitness. But when it comes down to making a decision and deciding to get healthy, it's really not that difficult to do. I say it at its simplest, it's a matter of moving more and eating less. And whether it's running or swimming or walking or hiking or getting on a bike or whatever it is, the physical benefits of exercising are, proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. And for me, the side that I talked about the opening to creativity, the emotional side of it, if you will, is arguably even more valuable because I feel great physically when I run and when I'm physically active, but I just feel great emotionally. It just feels like there's more of a connection. I feel like I'm more connected to the people around me. Like I said, I get out and run in nature. I don't like to run on a treadmill and inside somewhere. I like to get out, even if it's raining or something, get out in nature and really experience that. And there's something about running and being physically active that makes that experience even more dynamic for me.
Love it. Amazing audience. Again, you're hearing it live from Robert MacPhee. He is the founder and president of HeartSet Incorporated. You can connect with him at excellentdecisions.com. Robert, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Robert, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory that shows up in this moment is my grandfather used to take our whole family on trips. And I think one of the reasons it's one of my earliest childhood memories is there was so much emotion around it. There was so much connection to immediate family and also extended family. The groups got as big as over 30 people that were going on these trips. He would take the whole family to Hawaii or to locations like that. And to feel the love and the connection amongst the family it was really beautiful. And I think it goes back to one of the questions you asked me earlier about kind of the stage being set, and what is it that really set me up to be able to be living the life that I'm living today. And I think it goes all the way back to the priority that my grandfather set to keep the family together and to keep the family connected when that's not necessarily what happens naturally. And I've been blessed because I've seen my parents carry on that tradition, where my mom, my dad passed a couple of years ago, but my mom and my dad kept on that tradition, and my mom has continued the tradition to this day of the extended family, the cousins, all getting together on these vacations that are really just such a profound experience.
That's amazing. Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory?
Absolutely.
I love how you have within your life these pillars of wisdom that come through individuals that you allow to lead you. And in so doing, you learn. So your grandfather was one of those pillars. As you indicated, again, I would say Jack Canfield was another one of those pillars. And each time, definitely your decision to be there was, well, probably not as a child, but definitely as an adult with Jack, right? You gave him that opportunity to do that by being there. But to see the way it impacted your family by allowing this pillar and identifying his wisdom and letting that grow, if you would, naturally, organically, that's pretty fascinating.
You're a good listener.
Thank you. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
The truth is, you asked me that question ahead of time, and I had to go back and look up what songs were going on at that time, because I really couldn't remember. But the song that I found that I do remember really profoundly, and it stayed connected to me this day, was Neil Young's Heart of Gold. And part of the reason for that is Neil Young went to the same high school that I went to, and to see the level of success that he created and the impact that he made on the world, and to think that he came from the same place that I came from was always part of the impact of that song to me. One of the lyrics is, I've been to Hollywood and I've been to Redwood. And people always wonder what that means. And it's actually the high school that we both went to. It's Redwood High School in Marin County, California. So that was one of the ones that really struck me.
It's amazing how the lyrics of these songs connect to individuals. You've taken it on another level, right? But it's one of the things we do in our coaching sessions, where we listen to the song while looking at the lyrics. It's really fascinating, the connections that can be made in those songs. Very, very fascinating. All right, Robert, we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready? Robert,
I'm ready.
Robert, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
3 people, my 3 children.
Are you married?
I am.
Do you have
29 years.
Oh my, tell us a secret, please.
Well, again, I feel like I call it an unfair advantage. Imagine that in navigating through raising 3 children and being married for 20 years, that you have the advantage of hanging around with someone like Jack Canfield and some of the other amazing teachers that I've had. It has really made a profound difference in terms of being able to handle effectively so many of the challenges that we're all faced with.
Do you believe in God?
I do, in a unique way. I think in terms of God as a kind of a human figure, and certainly a male human figure would not be my vision of God. But I do believe absolutely in a higher power and something much greater that's going on in the world around us energetically than just this 5 sensory experience that we're having. I had a fascinating conversation with someone the other day about death, and because I'm so strongly anchored into the fact that there's something more going on, I feel like I have no fear of death. I actually am profoundly curious to see what's going to be on the other side when this chapter is over.
I as well, my friend. I as well. Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I do. I have a very tight, I would say, inner circle of friends. I'm very diligent and rigorous about who I spend my time with and how I spend my time. And a huge part of that is who I commit to spending time with. So, yes, friends and colleagues, I'm, again, truly blessed with the people that are in my life. And one of the things I've learned from the mentors that I've had is that who we spend time with has a huge impact on who we are in the world, how we show up in the world. So, again, I'm very rigorous about that.
Tell me about TV. Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Definitely not for more than 3 hours a day. I do love sports. This time of year, I'm a huge basketball fan, so I do find myself watching my Golden State Warriors on the television. But with television and with social media, again, being around the work that I do and learning how the human mind works, I'm acutely aware of how addictive that kind of attention can be. So I only turn the television on if there's something that I intentionally want to watch, because it's just so easy to sit down and 3 or 4 hours later go, what happened? Where did I go? Where have I been?
Or what about the screen time, the phone and the computer? Does that come up to 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Well, so much of my work is done on the computer. I deliver an online course. A lot of my communication is through email. I'm a lifelong learner. I love to learn, and sometimes through the screen is a great way to learn. So if you count my laptop, I'm probably on the screen or have the screen in front of me for more than 8 hours a day. But again, I'm very rigorous and diligent. People will reach out to me on Facebook and wonder why they don't hear from me for a few days. It's because I don't go into Facebook unless there's a specific reason to do that. Because I don't want my time in front of the screen to be wasted time. And it's an incredibly valuable resource, but it can also be an incredible distraction.
Robert, this has been a great pleasure. I'd like to know, though, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Robert MacPhee. What would you say that is?
I'm sorry, what was my own unique what?
Your own unique real statement. It's actually an acronym for yours. Your own unique real statement. A statement that represents who you are. What would you say that is?
Well, part of the work that I do is helping people connect to their purpose in life, their sense of who we really are. We actually use that question, who are you? And at the deepest level, I believe that I am unconditional love. So I'm not sure that really answers your question in the sense of the work that I feel like I'm here to do, the meaning behind this excellent decisions work that I'm doing. I probably think the best way to express it is that my intention is to help people thrive. And by thrive, I mean achieve at a really high level, but also be truly happy. And I think happy gets kind of a bad name in some ways because we think, oh, I'm overweight, but I'm still smiling, or oh, I have no money in the bank, but I'm still smiling. And we think that's happy. But I recently, well, not that recently anymore, it's been years, but relatively recently learned the ancient Greek definition of happiness in terms of a sense of purpose for me. What I'm all about is helping people be happy by that ancient Greek definition, which is the experience of joy while in pursuit of your potential. And every time I share that with people, they're like scrambling to get a pencil and wanting to write it down. And I remember the first time I heard it, I learned it from Sean Acor, who's a positive psychology guy. And when I first heard that, the experience of joy while in pursuit of your potential, I said, that's what I want. That's what I want for myself. That's what I want for my children. That's what I want for my family, for my clients, really for everyone. That would be the best description I've ever heard of what I believe we really want at our core.
Robert, my friend, more fun than I can handle. More fun than I can handle. Robert MacPhee, again, great pleasure, my friend. Thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.